Welcome to Minspeak4Kids2022. My name is Gail Van Tatenhove, and I am a speech-language pathologist from Orlando, Florida. Minspeak4Kids is an instructional booklet that I've used since the year 2000 to explain Minspeak to children in classrooms who have a classmate using a Minspeak system. This booklet has stood the test of time for 22 years because the four principles that drive a Minspeak system haven't changed since Minspeak was first invented and created by Bruce Baker in 1980. All examples in Minspeak4Kids2022 are based on the Unity 84 sequenced Minspeak application program. You could be using a different version of the Unity program or the Lamp Words for Life program, which is based on the Unity program. That's okay, because the four principles that drive a Minspeak system are the same for all of these Minspeak application programs. They are also the same for non-English language programs like Unidad, a Spanish language program, or Quasselkist, a German language program. If I were using Minspeak4Kids2022, I would visit the classroom where there is a student using a Minspeak system and show the classmates how Minspeak works. To help with the explanation, I would bring my own Minspeak device with the Unity 84 sequence program. So as I taught the children about Minspeak, the examples in the booklet would match what they saw and selected on my device. It is important that as you demonstrate, that embellished or alternate icons are off in your demonstration device. The student using the Minspeak system would be right there alongside of me with his or her device. The student might be using a different Minspeak application program. In the past, when that happened, which it did quite frequently, it was an opportunity to show everyone that the four principles of Minspeak remain true, regardless of the program being used. I would bring my Minspeak4Kids kit, which includes props that match some of the icons that are used as examples in the booklet. My Minspeak4Kids kit includes a toy apple, a small can of orange juice, a pair of dice, a wristwatch, a toy stoplight, and a book. My Minspeak4Kids kit also includes 2 or 3 inch size paper icons for the apple, juice, dice, watch, stoplight, and book. Finally, the last thing in my Minspeak4Kids kit are costumes and pictures for 3 different parts of speech, which you'll see and learn more about later. After going through the booklet with the students, I leave a copy with the teacher to include in their classroom or even school library. A copy of this booklet with notes about each page is available at my Teachers Pay Teachers store. For the remainder of this video, I'll go through the booklet with you and explain what I say and do with the students. Generally, you read the text on each page and then expound upon it or demonstrate something. Introduce yourself and explain how you're going to read through this book with them. There is nothing that needs to be said with this page unless you want to talk about the author of the book. Read, then expound on the text. Emphasize how exciting and cool it is to have someone in their classroom who uses a special machine to talk. But try not to embarrass the child using the speech-generating device. spend a minute talking about how all people use different kinds of tools to help them. Maybe glasses, a hearing aid, a cane, or something else. Identify the device the child is using. The device, based on the Minspeak application program the child is using, might not look exactly like these pictures. Ask the children how many words they think they can say. Don't be surprised if some say 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 1,000,000. Emphasize that their classmate using the Minspeak system needs lots of words too, so that he or she can talk in class, write in class, and generally have fun with everyone. Now we're going to start talking about rules. Children in classrooms understand about rules. Draw a parallel between class rules and rules for how the speech-generating device talks. Children might bring up special rules about using the device, like not touching it or waiting for their classmate to talk. Find out from the teacher if there are any special class rules about using the speech-generating device. The rules that children are going to learn in this booklet are not about safety or personal respect for the device, but how the Minspeak software works in the speech-generating device. Read, "The name for these rules is," and have everyone say the word Minspeak together. Children enjoy spelling out the name of the rules letter by letter and doing a shout of the word Minspeak. Hold up one finger, then read the first rule. Rule number 1, Minspeak uses pictures. Talk about how pictures are used all the time to help children learn. Some of these pictures might have been new to them, like the safety signs, but we all learned what those pictures mean. Look around the room, then ask the children to show examples of how their teacher uses pictures in the classroom. Ask the children to tell you about the 6 pictures on this page. Then have them find the pictures on your speech-generating device. Don't have them press the symbols. For later demonstrations, have handy your props of these objects or the larger paper versions of these pictures. Reinforce to the children that they have learned the first rule of Minspeak, which is that Minspeak uses pictures. Minspeak pictures are simple, everyday pictures that everyone recognizes. Next, hold up 2 fingers and read rule number 2. Rule number 2, Minspeak pictures mean more than one thing. Emphasize that this is what makes Minspeak pictures special. They mean more than one thing. Look around the classroom for examples of a teacher using a mind map or concept web or some similar kind of organizational tool to stimulate the thinking of his or her students. Ask the children if their teacher does activities with them where a picture makes them think of more than one thing. Find out if their teacher ever shows a picture and then asks the 5 WH and 1 how question about it. Then focus on one picture. Probe for the children to give multiple meanings for this picture. What do we do with an apple? Well, we eat it. What group of things would an apple go with? Food or fruit? How would you describe your tummy and how you feel when you need food? Why, you're hungry. What else does an apple make you think of? Maybe other fruit, red, even an Apple computer. Focus on the next picture. Continue to probe for the children to give multiple meanings for this picture. What do we do with a glass of juice? Why, we drink it. What group of things would go with a can of juice? Well, other beverages or other drinks. How would you describe your throat or your mouth when you want a drink? Well, you're thirsty. What else does a can of juice make you think of? Cold, wet, ice. What about this one? Try this one. What do we do with dice? Why, we play with them. What group of things would dice go with? Games? How would you describe it? Thinking about its size. Well, it's little. What else do dice make you think about? Win, lose, gamble? Here you are going to start having the children think about where a new word would belong. Point out that it is an apple tree and a dice tree. If possible, have one student read the words from the apple tree and another student read the words from the dice tree. Then read the word bite and ask them if it belongs on the apple or the dice tree. Repeat the process with the word win. Ask, how about this word? On which tree does it belong? Repeat the process with the word small. Do the same thing with the word chew. Now with delicious, then cheat, and here's the last one, playground. By this point, the children always show me how they understand how one picture can make them think of many different ideas. Emphasize to the children what a great job they did knowing where the new words belong. Reinforce that they learned that Minspeak pictures mean more than one thing. Reinforce that they also know to think about the tree where any new word might be found or need to go. Finally, it is time to say the words with the speech-generating device. Push just the picture of the apple and wait. Encourage the children to listen carefully and think hard, to try and hear the machine talk. The machine should not say anything, but there's always a kid who heard something. Be kind and say, no, you didn't hear it, not yet. Maybe the next page in our book will tell us why. The machine did not speak when you only pushed one picture because most of the words in a Minspeak system are coded with symbol or picture sequences. Rule 3 explains this. Hold up 3 fingers and read rule number 3. Rule number 3, Minspeak pictures go together like friends to talk and write. As a fun way to remember this, you could say, if you want to start talking, take a friend with you walking. Tell the children they are going to meet 3 very important friends. Mr. Action Man, also known to his friends as Herb the Verb, Grandma Hubbard, or some people call her Old Mother Hubbard, and Artiste, who loves to paint. You will use your costumes for these 3 characters and dress up 3 classmates as these 3 characters. If you don't have costumes, use pictures to represent each of these characters. Get out your props or pictures of the dice, juice, and apple. Have 6 volunteers from the class. 3 will hold up one of the 3 props or pictures. The other 3 will be dressed in one of the costumes or holding one of the pictures of the parts of speech. You may need help from the teacher or classroom assistant to keep this from getting out of hand. You read the page to them. Say, let's say eat. Ask the questions on the page. What picture do you need? Have the child with the apple hold up the apple and step forward. You press the apple symbol on your device, showing the children what you did. The AAC user in the classroom could do this too if he or she uses this symbol sequence to say eat. Then ask, what friend comes along? Have the student in the verb costume or with the verb symbol stand next to the student with the apple. You press the verb symbol on your device. Everyone should be able to hear the device speak the word eat. The AAC user could also be participating with his or her device. Repeat the process to say the word little. Of course, you'll need participation from the child holding the dice prop or picture and from the child dressed as artiste. Then repeat the process to say the word drink. Then repeat the process to say the word play. How about to say the word hungry? Then the word thirsty. Repeat the process to say the word food. This will be the first use of Mother Hubbard as a part of speech. Repeat the process to say the word game. Tell the students that they have been putting 2 pictures together to say the word and that Minspeak pictures go together in short sequences. Ask about the kinds of sequencing things that they do in their classroom. Maybe story sequence cards, a classroom schedule, or math activities. Remind everyone that their friend works on learning sequences too. Read this page to the student. The pictures that go together in sequences are codes for the words your friend says and writes, but they are not secret codes. They are codes that anyone can learn. That's because of rule number 4. Minspeak codes follow patterns. When you read this page, you will have held up 4 fingers and read the rule. Have the students think about patterns they have in their classroom. Look around the room to find examples of ways the teacher is working on patterns. Ask if their friend works on patterns too. Then read this page. Patterns make it easy to learn Minspeak picture codes. Every time you learn a new word, it gets easier and easier because you predict which pictures to use and follow the pattern. You can discuss with them how they have learned one pattern where they picked a picture plus a friend. Read this page. There's a handful of patterns, and once you learn these patterns, you can predict how to say more and more words. We are going to look at 5 of the most important patterns. And as you read that, you held up 5 fingers. What patterns do you see? The pattern is that all the verbs end with the same picture. The pattern is that all the adjectives end with the same picture. The first pattern is that you pick the picture and then the picture for the friend. It's because of this pattern, and I wanted children to see this pattern, that embellished icons are off. So if you did not turn embellished icons off, it will be harder for the children to see these patterns. This one is a little tricky. What pattern do you see now? They still end with the same picture for the friend, but the friend picture is a little different because we changed the endings of these words. So the friend picture needs to change a little also. You'll demonstrate this with the device so they can hear the different endings for the verbs, the adjectives, and the nouns. Now what pattern do you see? Sometimes you put 2 pictures together and then pick the picture for the friend. This pattern lets your friend using the device say all the words that could go on a picture tree. Again, in order for the pattern to remain obvious, embellished icons, which is called alternate icons in the Empower software, is off. Remind the children that they looked earlier at the apple and dice trees. It will be easier to find these words with the children if, before you started, you set a specific feature in the feedback menu that provides printed words above the pictures. In the feedback menu, with Show Category Labels, set it with Both. Then say this: remember these trees? Let's see if together we can figure out how to say all these words on the apple tree. And then you're going to find those words in the device. Then say, now let's see if we can find all the words on the dice tree. And once again, you're going to use your device to speak all of these words. As you go on to pattern 3, you'll want the children to see that the pattern has changed so that the first symbol in the sequence is always the same. You'll say, now what pattern do you see? This time, which picture is the same and which picture changes? Let's look at the device and see how this looks. Explore some of the question words and several of the prepositions. As you show pattern 4, you'll once again see if the children can identify the patterns that are being used for subject pronouns and then object pronouns. You'll say, now what pattern do you see? Explore several of these. Again, don't worry about doing all of them. We only want to impress upon the children and the teaching team that there are patterns. This principle that Minspeak sequences follow patterns is demonstrated again in pattern number 5. You say, now what patterns do you see? Let's use the device and see what happens. With the pattern, your friend is saying some phrases. Again, only explore several of these. You probably won't have the time or the attention of the children to do much more than that. Finally, read this page to the students. Make sure the students and any staff listening understand that the power of a Minspeak system is that the picture sequences follow predictable patterns. As you wrap up, praise the students for their attention and work in learning about their friend's Minspeak system. Check how the students did with the 4 rules and congratulate the students. Summarize and read the 4 rules with the students. Thank the students for being such good listeners. Make sure the teaching staff understand that there are many resources that Gail provides to help them support the student using a Minspeak system in their classroom and school. Final credits do not need to be covered with the students. The end. At the end of the book is a page of the Minspeak symbols that were featured, as well as the symbols for the parts of speech. The symbols for verbs and nouns match what is used in Unity 84. Artiste is not an actual symbol used in Unity. Rather, his paintbrush is the symbol. These 2 final slides can be used as the pictures when working with the children. Print out the 2 pages, laminate them, then cut the pictures apart to add to your Minspeak for Kids kit.